I could go out of the room and try. I was going to ask Dave. Oh yes, sorry, I forgot.
Look quite round. I quite like this. My hair looks ginger instead of blonde. That's camera. Yeah.
I'm wondering about putting this blind down because I don't look.
Oh my God, the boys are dictating the line.
That's.
Hopefully people have seen it in press. No.
Yep, I did.
There it is.
Why?
Cool. You can hear us.
Ah, okay.
That's working, yeah?
You want me to call it, Kate?
That's right.
Hello. We are assuming that two thumbs to Kate mean you can hear us and see us. Can you hear us on the laptop? Kate, he's saying he can see us. He's testing if he can hear us.
Okay.
Shall we say something? Yeah?
Oh.
Okay. You can hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Yes, we will. There are 4 minutes for everyone to join. We could go on mute and like, we could have that. Oh, I don't think.
Yeah.
There you go. we start? Or wait for everyone to join? I don't know. We only have 3. Oh.
Okay, let's start.
We are off mute just so.
Yeah.
I was wondering, should we wait for 1 minute past? Okay, that'll give everyone time.
Just continue on mute then.
Okay, thank you. Right, hello everyone. Welcome to our first leadership Q&A with your new leadership team. So the reason we thought we should do this is you'll notice there are a lot of new faces in the room, some old faces but in new roles in the room. So we thought it would be good to sort of kick off with the new leadership team and allow you the opportunity to ask us literally whatever you want. The only rule is to keep it clean. Just a reminder, the link is still open, so if you guys want to submit live questions, Kate's going to read them off the Microsoft Teams for us as well. So feel free to submit as this goes on. I'm going to pass around. We'll do a quick intro of ourselves. I'm hoping you all know all of us, but just a quick round of intro. So I'll start. I'm Payal. I now look after channel operations. And we thought we'd do one interesting or fun fact about ourselves. And my fun fact is, I don't know if it was fun at the time, but as a kid, I got lost and a dog found me and walked me home. And that shows you how much my parents cared about me when I was a little child. But that's my fun and interesting fact. Vicky, you want to go?
So I'm Vicky Wakelin. If you're looking for me on email, just everybody's there. Yeah, it's under Victoria. So I look after, I'm basically digital, so I look after channel operation support. And an interesting fact about me, for those of you who know me well will know that I love to sit in the sun. And I don't burn, I go very brown. And I found out why the reason for that a couple of years ago, and that's because my great-grandfather was an Aborigine.
Oh,
there you go.
Hi, I'm Dan Halsey. I'm responsible for supply chain. My fun fact, nothing to be hugely proud of, and I only learnt it on the weekend, but I can actually lay flat on my back and spin a fidget spinner on my nose and keep it spinning for 5 minutes. There we go.
Okay, I'll go next. Hi, I'm the South Indian superstar, sorry, Jinesh Nair. I'm the head of channel capacity on secondment. Fun fact about me, I was actually struggling to figure out what is fun fact about me until Payal made me realize that there are things that, or skills that I have that nobody else can do. And back onto the nose subject, I can touch my nose with my tongue.
Can you show that?
It was on display until Vicky said
Yeah,
it.
Hi guys, Mithun Shetty. I lead the customer service quality team now. And fun fact about me is it's a long thing that I'm on a mission to kind of cover all the 7 wonders of the world. I've been trying to do it for the last 5 years, but the list kind of changes every 2-3 years. So I've covered like 9 or 10 wonders now, but I've still not finished the latest list. But yeah, every 2 odd years, me and my mate, 2 of my mates kind of go off and kind of take that wonder of the world, and then we find that the list has changed. But it's fun. It's been good.
Okay, would you like to introduce yourself and your role today?
Yeah, sure. I'm Kate. I'm studying for Carolina today, so I will be the Jeremy Paxman of the thing asking the questions. Ready to start? Okay, first question is to Pyle. Since the two-beta capita took place, there's been a distinct disconnect between them and us. There is very little communication between the two of us, and there doesn't seem to be an established way of working. This is very difficult to our relationship with, this is very different to our relationship with TechM. And whilst we understand that this relationship took many years to get to where it is, we don't see any of the improvement with Capita. We're also hearing very troubling feedback from those who were 2P'd over. Do we have any plans to address this? If so, can you give us an idea of what these plans are?
So the simple answer is yes. I'll start with the troubling feedback bit. I think the feedback's now reached all the right people within 3. And Gigi's team is primarily spearheading this, and they're starting to work with Capita on what do we do. I'll give you an example. Within the quality team, we started to hear a lot of our colleagues who used to work for 3 are now leaving because they are frustrated about the way things are at Capita. And Mithun's team, for example, Jill has started talking to them to say, forget what's on the contract, forget what your accountabilities to us are, just focus on making this a better place for people. So we've almost taken our foot off the gas on KPIs and day-to-day work, and we are trying to support them with how to keep the people happy. And Gigi's team's doing the same with telesales and CRT. So there is awareness and there is work going on. To the first part of the question, yes, you're right. It was always meant to be different, but different never meant you didn't know who to talk to and there's no dialogue between the two areas. My request is, guys, if there's a specific team that doesn't know who to speak to in Capita and would like more engagement, can you raise it to Mithun? Because Mithun set up governance with Capita. And if there are areas where the governance or the ways of working isn't working, he can sort of support bridge some of those gaps. So awareness is there. We intend to work with Capita like we do with TechM. And if there are gaps, my request is please raise individual team feedback to Mithun so he can help you improve the relationship.
Thank you. So next question. With such a large change in our leadership team, has there or will there be a change in direction / purpose / strategy for ChOps as a whole or individually?
I'll take that if you want. So business direction hasn't really changed. Dave set us up to be best loved brand by people and customer for 2021, and that direction is consistent. We don't anticipate any change to that at a business level, and therefore we don't really anticipate fundamentally changing what we are here to do as channel operations or as sub-functions. Our raison d'etre is to create a fantastic customer experience and to manage quality, to manage the experience we're giving in our channels, to make sure that our channels have the right tools and systems to support not just our employees, but again, our customers that want to engage with us. We're going to need to manage our channel capacity keener than ever as we go into more significant IT change and manage the impact on our people and customers really effectively. From a supply chain perspective, we want to deliver great products. We want the right delivery experiences, repair experiences. So fundamentally, what we do as a collective, I don't think changes. What perhaps will change is when you get any change in leadership. Some people come in with new ideas, fresh ideas. So although we wouldn't anticipate the overall direction changing, maybe some of the tactics may do. That's entirely natural, and I personally see that as entirely healthy. Probably the other one maybe to watch out here is around the sort of more general ways of working. As we go through transformation, things like Rebus and the back end of people transformation will deliver a different way of working for all of us across the business. And that may have some impact on our day-to-day roles. But I think, Janesh, you're going to talk a little bit more about that one shortly, yeah. So hopefully that covers it, guys.
Thank you. And the next question is for you, Dan. How much did you pay for your pool queue again?
Yeah, for anyone not in on the brilliant in-joke from my team there, thanks, guys. I did have a few too many drinks last week and spend £155 on a full queue, thinking it would turn me into Ronnie O'Sullivan, and it didn't. So yeah, thanks for that.
Money can't buy everything.
Money can't buy everything. Mostly, but yeah, no, not talent or things.
Thank you. Okay, next question is for everybody. From your individual knowledge on the subject, how do you see the introduction of circles impacting your team? And how can we as ChOps support each other to make the transition a smooth one?
I'll take that. So I'm fresh out of a meeting this morning, and I've had a 4-hour session on, I wouldn't call it circles. I think some of us have heard about circles as, but I would rather say circles is a part of new ways of working. And I can tell you that it's the most exciting part that in the last 4 weeks that I've been engaged with to look forward to. I think from a support perspective, each member of the wider leadership team, now are on board of how it works. And every change takes time to embed, and I think the success depends on how we make it. So I would ask, I would request each one of us, if you're unclear, ask a question. I think it is for us to make it work rather than, individual to make it work. So I'm really excited and looking forward to make it a success. So, yeah.
Thank you. Next question. What is the one thing in the current multi-channel workflow that causes you the most frustration or pain?
I think that, and I think I'll speak for the team, is the one of the frustrations is that it seems the process itself is a bit lengthy and bureaucratic. And the reason why I feel that is that there are way too many owners for a lot of things and a lot of approvers to kind of get one initiative going, and that kind of sometimes frustrates the hell out from the team because it takes that much more time to move in a simple initiative through the pipeline. Having said that, the new ways of working should kind of mitigate that, and it should make things a lot quicker and empower our people to take decisions a lot quicker. But yeah, that feeling of, we say that it's multi-channel, but sometimes it's all about who shouts the loudest and creates this massive business case, and that initiative gets prioritized. So it's first in, first out, rather than being absolutely prioritized on its merits kind of thing. But yes, that's in the past. That's how we've been doing things for the last 2 years. But like Dinesh and Dan said, it's time for change. And I'm pretty hopeful that the new ways of working should kind of take that frustration away from all of us.
So next one. Obviously, we all love working in ChOps, but what's the worst job you've ever had?
Like first? I've never had a bad job. I've had a terrible boss. So when I worked for Dixon Stores Group, I had a boss who had the worst behaviours on the planet. So he used to shout, scream, swear, and it was a proper JFDI culture. So when I came here, for instance, after being 9 years at DSG and actually working with him for 9 years as well, it was a proper culture shock, and it really was, because people actually treated you like a human being. So positive overall.
I have had hundreds. I've had quite a few dubious jobs. So the one I was going to pick when I left education, having just qualified in business and finance, I took the logical step into pressure die casting. For anyone who doesn't know what pressure die casting is, it's working with molten zinc, essentially, in machines in a foundry. And for a year, I worked ladling molten metal from a smelter into a die casting machine. And it spits, it gets burnt. I've still got scars on my arms now. And after about a year, I thought, you know what, it's a good job. I paid attention at school and went and got a much easier job. So yeah, I'm pleased I made the jump.
Thank you. So next question. The focus around the monthly com seems to have disappeared. Are we going to carry on with it? And if so, can we move away from sitting and listening to more interaction beyond the interval? And a little note to say, I think the interval works really well.
I'll take that one. I was a bit surprised to read that you guys felt the focus has gone away. The one thing when Rohini was handing over to me and we were in transition, the one thing we said we should not drop off was the comm. I think the feeling comes because attendance from the leadership team's been a bit light, and it is because most of us were gone. Like Dij was gone. There was no head of CSD. I was unwell. I think Mithun was in India. I remember Jinesh saying, "Well, Vicky and I were the only ones at the com," and I was like, "That's because Vicky and you were the only ones at work." So I can see why that's coming across as we are losing interest in the com, but absolutely not. Communication is very, very important to us as a leadership team, and that will keep going. About the format of the com, I have struggled for 2 years to come up with a format that everyone loves, but that doesn't mean I'm giving up. So we're going to try and work through something different, because I agree with the feedback that you don't want to be sitting in a chair for 2 hours told about what's going on in the business. So definitely take the action to work a more interactive format out of this. So thanks for the feedback, guys.
Thank you. The next one's from Mithun. The CSQ team had the opportunity to complete the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt course last year. Do we have any plans to allow us to participate in the Green Belt course this year?
So yeah, that was the original plan when we did the Yellow Belt last year, but my opinion is we have lost around 6 months in the wider reorg, and I would like to kind of take a stock of where we are with our year-end goals and what this new ways of working shapes up to be, because there will be a lot of time spent in setting that up as well. Yes, there is commitment to do that green belt training, and after that, yes, black belt as well. But I don't think the timing is right this year. But it will happen. I just don't know the timeline.
Great, thank you. Another one for everybody. Can you please all give us an overview of what you and your teams do?
Okay. I'm lucky I don't have to know. Okay. Come on, Vicky, you start.
Make the new girl go first. Okay. So channel ops support. So it's very much a technical team. And by technical, I mean we manage the interface between, I suppose, the customer teams and business operations from an incident management perspective. The guys are also the subject matter experts for systems, and they're willing to help anybody, as many of you know, in all fairness. We also look after, run and maintain, so things like vendor management, a lot of stuff in retail. The maintenance of that actually goes through my team. And then we have John Morgan as well, so he looks after dialogue performance and continuous improvement, along with risk and compliance. And if he's on the call, he's probably going, "Oh, risk and compliance." So yeah, quite a broad piece, but all sits together very well actually. And I'm new, so I'm still learning what I need to do.
That laughter and awe was because I forget I represent CSD even today, so I don't get a free from jail card. I have to explain what CSD does. That's why the laughter, not that I don't like explaining what CSD does. So as you guys know, I'm still looking for the head of customer service design. So what that team does, and the best part is we got together in January and defined what the team does. So very easy for me to talk through and say, CSD brings business ideas to life, really. They make things happen. And I will say the team feels really proud of that. They feel really proud that they take an idea down to execution and bring it to life. Some of the technical things involved in that, I'm sure you guys know, is designing the customer journey, designing the go-to-market plan, designing the intricate processes, the briefing, training, etc., other sort of accountabilities. But largely this team takes an idea from someone thought about doing something down to market or to channels.
Next, so a couple of years back when the team was quiet, we came up with a strapline which kind of holds true to everything that we do. So basically we call ourselves the eyes and ears of the business and voice of the customer. And I kind of am lucky enough to kind of lead a team which kind of passionately lives that day in, day out, that one single strapline. So that kind of explains everything that we do. To just elaborate on that, basically we set up the benchmarks for our for customer experience in our channels. We measure our channels against those benchmarks, and then we put action plans in place to kind of bring that up to the targets that we set for ourselves. But that's in a nutshell of what we do, but a lot of hard work goes in kind of managing our partners in India, Glasgow, retail, online, and continuous improvement as and when we see that opportunity. There's a new kind of a role that's come in. I'm still kind of looking to recruit for that, which is policy. historically that used to sit in marketing. But I'm very excited to have that within channel ops now, because we are more close to what happens in the channels. We'll have a direct impact in how we shape our customer policies going forward. So that's in a nutshell what I think is.
Okay, I'll go next. So 2 years ago, if you would have asked me this question, I would have been thinking, what does channel capacity exactly do? And I was trying to think that how do I best explain this rather than getting into the technical terminology. So if you imagine a car and if you imagine an engine, there are 3-cylinder engines for that function. One is the initiation process, which is where Ruchika manages. That's one of the engine. Second is the impact assessment process. Basically, we are trying to analyze and tell what it means to the channel. And third is the post-implementation review, which is once executed, what it means, what has actually meant to the channel, and what are the learnings that have come through the process. We are one of those teams that is apart from the initiation to the journey to the execution. And we are a very small member team, one team, one dream, very passionate about getting it right for the customer. So yeah, that's us.
Okay, for supply chain, we're really looking to manage the entire product life cycle and the associated customer interactions to give the best possible experience. So we're split into a few areas, demand planning and supply planning. Very much about working with our trading teams and our vendors to make sure we've got the right amount of stock coverage and we're not tying up working capital unnecessarily in product that's not selling. We've got forward operations, which is warehousing, distribution, couriers backwards and forwards, making sure that we get our products to the customer on time to the right place and safely. We've got reverse operations, looking after, I guess, sometimes the more unpleasant end of the customer journey, so repair processes, return journeys, making sure that we do that in the most efficient and customer-centric way possible. And all of that is underpinned by analysis and reporting, sort of informing every step of it. Additionally, we've also got a team who are pretty much solely focused on retail at the moment and servicing our stores, not just from a stock perspective, but all of our logistics processes as well. And they're servicing our 326 stores as of this morning.
Thank you. Next question is for Pyle. Now that we have a grade D gap in the structure in CSQ, what do we plan to do to bridge this? What support and opportunities will be put in place to assist those on grade E to make the next step?
I'll answer this in 2 parts. I acknowledge the grade D role was taken away, and I remember during reorg we were chatting about what does that mean. The way I see it is some of those grade D accountabilities will go to the grade E and some to the grade C. And again, my request is that you guys as a function try and work out what that means, how will it work in the future, and obviously Mithun will help lead some of those discussions. If I'm assuming I think the second part of the question more is around career progression. And the great thing at 3 is you can take multiple career paths here. So one career path could take you straight from a grade E to a grade C. And if that's what your aspiration is, then you should have a PDP that helps support you on how you develop from the E to the C. If you personally think the E to the C is a big jump for you, you should try and find something outside of quality as your next career path. And I'll use an example. You could go to a grade D. I'm thinking transferable skills, guys, so don't limit to what I'm saying, but you could go to a grade D in a process designer role. Because from, Yvonne, I'm taking your name because you're a great example of how someone from quality is moved to CSD. And then again, Steph is a great example of someone from CSD who's moved to quality. It's because they are transferable skills. So I'd say don't limit yourself or your career path to within your function. Think wider than your function, but think where you can apply your skills. So if you think grade E to grade C is too big a jump, look at some other grade D roles in the organization and start to develop yourself to move into them. I'm happy to have this conversation offline with the quality guys. If you'd like some clear career path options, again, raise the request via Mithun and we could have a chat about this. Are you looking to add something?
No.
Cool, thank you. Right, I've got one more question on the sheet, and then if anybody wants to ask anything else, they can go to the channel ops teams and in the general chat, ask it there, and I'll ask it on your behalf. So final question, Pyle, I need some updated pictures for our intranet page. When's the next offsite?
I love that question, and I smell a Keith Swindle in that question. We were actually talking about this of what's a good time. There are people, like we are not at full capacity in terms of roles yet, but we also discussed at what point, how long do you wait? So we've decided we'll do something in August. The only thing left to do is try and see how many people we can get there, because we'd like at least 90% of the team to be in attendance, and I know August is holiday time. So we are going to circulate the usual tracker to make sure we find a date when everyone's available. But August is a tentative placeholder that you guys should have in your diary shortly.
Thank you. No questions on Teams just yet. Okay. Leave it a few minutes. People furiously type.
5 minutes.
I think you can.
We do, yeah. Anyone knows how to
Or a spinner for downstairs.
Let's give 5.
When it stops.
You guys have any questions like for each other? I just hate dead air. It's a
Yeah.
contact center thing. Like, I hate dead air. Yeah.
Oh, I've got one from Sol. If you had to sack one of your team, who would it be?
You solve.
So set yourself up for that, Sol.
How are you doing with your PA recruitment?
Oh yes, I should have spoken of that. I have offered a role. I mean, I've offered someone to be my PA, and she accepted. This is like accepting a wedding proposal, I tell you. Till recruitment came back and she said yes. I was sitting nervously. So we have Erica Denny joining us on the 1st of August, and I'm really excited because she's lovely. On Saul's note of who will I sack, Saul, at this stage I'm looking to recruit, so I'm sacking no one except you for asking that question.
That's fair.
Did you not realize, Saul, this is not anonymous anymore?
He's saying that somebody else said that.
Oh.
I'm sure they did, so. Anything else? Don't be shy. One from John. Hi Vicky, since we learned some facts about you in your joining email, we have one question. Can we have a team hedgehog, please?
Oh, you can't. I haven't got them yet. So I am getting hedgehogs. I'm very excited about my hedgehogs. I need to go on a training course though, because I couldn't make the training course. You have to go and learn to look after them.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a soft release program. So you get them and they have to be in a run for so long, and then you're supposed to let them out. You're supposed to make sure that you have hedgehog holes in your fences so they can go through. But because we want them to eat the slugs, we're going to make sure you haven't got any holes in our fences, and they are staying in our garden. So yeah, they're mine. And I'm hoping they're going to be a mating pair.
Okay, another one from Sol. I think it's first. Sometimes when we launch things, there is kick-off events. Why do we never get invited since we do the work?
Do you know what these events are?
I don't. I'm guessing things like the Samsung did some events last week that some people were invited to.
The Samsung event that was last week, I think.
Okay, I'll probably have to take that away. I know, actually, let me put it differently. So Kat got invited to the Adele concert by Samsung. And I was thinking, how is Kat going to this and I am not? But I will find out. I think what happens is certain functional heads get a number of tickets and they probably circulate them to the same set of people. But I will find out like how can this be more evenly distributed. So I'll try and take that away.
And one from Pete. Do you prefer Con Air or The Rock? Still not correct.
The Rock, always.
Con Air.
Con Air.
Con Air.
Yeah.
Microsoft
Con
Can't be Conair.
Conair seems to be the winner.
All the way wrong.
Cyrus.
Any more guys? That's good.
There is a Bollywood version if you want to.
I'm being texted a question, so we're going to wait till the question.
Who's that?
Anonymous. Some people can't get on Teams, so
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I've just realised I've got.
okay.
Okay. Morale has been low for a while. We kept getting told to wait for the org change. Now that has happened, but morale hasn't really improved. Is there anything we could do collectively to address this?
The answer is always yes. I'll give you an example. I think we spoke about this at our leadership team meeting, and we acknowledge that morale's low, so please don't think we are blind and we think everything's moved on. We thought we should do some things in our functions and teams. For example, Dan took his team to Thorpe Park on Friday just to sort of get people up and going again. And all of us have decided individually that we'll do something within our functions, and then August is the date we think we should all go off-site, like almost try and realign on, what are we trying to do for the second half of this year, and also some fun. Alcohol is great for bringing morale up, so hopefully some booze, but the intent is to do something joint for ChOps and then something independently in function, so it is on the ground.
There's a sports day.
There's sports day, yeah.
Go on. Which one? No, no, you go.
Yeah, I mean, Saul's put in diaries for sports day across both the sites now, so that should be some fun.
Yeah, we do think we're going to have to move the maiden one because it clashes with the leadership training, management training. So we might need to move the maiden one, but we'll get on with us.
Thank you. I've got a couple more here. Janesh, when do you start shooting your new film?
When do I start shooting my new film? When I finish working with 3.
What is this about your new film?
Because I said I'm the South Indian actor, right? With my new
And one from Maureen, where's my birthday present? It's Maureen's birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's it, Maureen.
Me singing for you was your birthday present, Maureen, unfortunately.
That's it so far.
We'll give it a couple of minutes, otherwise we'll wrap up. Awkward silence.
I'll ask a question. I think you've come back after a while now. What has changed? I keep telling you that I don't think the things have changed. But is there anything that you felt in the first couple of weeks? Oh, this has changed. How it used to be.
So I noticed something this morning actually. So there's lots of things that haven't changed, like the car park doors are still broken and the lifts don't work. The toilets have been fixed, which is a bonus. But the biggest thing actually was walking in on a Monday morning, and because I've been here a week and a half now, and the first thing I noticed was I hadn't got a full inbox. Where when I left, people used to work on weekends. And I don't know whether I'm just unique because I'm new, I've got no idea. But it was actually really nice walking in and not having this backlog because it was just amazing to me. I was like, wow, because everyone worked weekends before. So yeah, there does seem to be a shift in work-life balance, which I think is the big thing.
I don't come into a full inbox. I don't think it's because you're new.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah,
which
definitely a shift.
which is for me, it's a real positive actually because it was hard work. You knew there was that feeling of dread when you walk through the door. Oh my God, what on earth is going to be in my inbox today? If you hadn't checked it over the weekend, because everybody was responding to emails over the weekend as well when I left. So yeah, it's definitely a bonus.
I think your WhatsApp would be full now because you're managing systems and everything.
This week I was lovely. I must admit, I'll carry 2 phones around me all weekend and neither of them.
No more, yeah.
Okay, we wrap up then, guys. Thanks for joining and listening to us, and thank you for everyone who asked a question. We'll aim to do this every now and then, so you get the opportunity to ask us anything that you want. We are taking away a few requests, actions, but all I'll say is be kind and gentle, because this is a new leadership team. It takes a bit for us to get used to each other and start working like that well-oiled machine you were used to when Rohini was around, because that team had been together for 2 years. So give us a bit of transition time and you'll start to see all the same wonderful things happen again. Thanks again for joining. Thank you very much, Kate, for doing this.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It's such an Indian thing, isn't it?